What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, Caleb Williams, the new USC quarterback, has inked 2 new deals this past week, actually, since I last talked to you guys. So, he is now signed with Beats by Dre, which is pretty cool, I guess, especially if you're a young athlete. And then also, he's now a part owner of some type of grooming company. I don't know exactly 100% what they do. I know it said they did start off doing like nails and stuff. Apparently he paints his nails a bunch of weird different colors. Never knew that about him, but I guess now he's a part owner of this company and they're gonna branch off and do other type of grooming stuff as well. So that's good for him. Another big positive thing when you come to USC, when you're a quarterback, I guess, and the star. So good luck to him. And then also just this week, Fox Sports put out that Caleb Williams has the third best odds to win the Heisman Trophy this upcoming season. Of course, 2 guys in front of him are 2 ex-California guys, the quarterback Bryce Young, who just won it last year from Alabama, and then the Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud. So they've done it twice, so they'll be up there, of course, unless something happens, which I'm pretty sure it'll go to them. But he does have a chance to throw up some numbers, even if USC doesn't make the Final Four. So we'll see how that goes. Then Duke got a huge victory on the road against their rival North Carolina by 20 points. It was 87-67 final score. It was kind of bad if you could hear, which I could even watching on TV, like even the fans once Coach K was out and all this stuff, because they said right before the game, usually these teams on the road have been giving Coach K like a goodbye present, a farewell thing, all this type of stuff. But of course the rivals said they weren't going to do that, which wasn't surprising, but you could hear a lot of them say like F Coach K and do all this other type of chants. And it excuse me, it wasn't just the student section, it was the whole entire arena. But of course, I guess when you're the GOAT, everybody dislikes you, especially your rival. So he took it in stride, and of course they got that victory, which is nice. AJ Griffin stepped up once again, the freshman, but sadly tonight they did lose to Virginia, which sucks, but it's what happens when you make them play a day and a half later, especially after a big win like that against North Carolina, which sucks for the scheduling, but hopefully they get back on track later this week and get another victory. So I think they were like #1 in the ACC right before that, so we'll see if they keep that #1 spot in the ACC. And then also RJ Barrett had a career high 36 points against the Lakers on Saturday as well. Maybe he felt, juiced up since Duke beat North Carolina. But yeah, luckily, I'll talk about that game later. But yes, it wasn't a losing effort. But yeah, it was kind of cool to see an ex-Duke player get a career high against the Lakers, and I could still be happy about it. Then the Anaheim Ducks, haven't mentioned them in a while, but yes, I think their past 2 wins right before this All-Star break, they did get the victories against both Montreal and Ottawa. I think 1-goal victories. It's pretty good for them. And then I didn't even know as well, because I don't really follow their social media, but they also had 2 All-Stars that I saw over the weekend during their All-Star break and games and stuff. I believe Trevor Zegras actually was one of the participants, which I think he should have won. If you've seen one of my videos earlier that I posted a couple days ago, where he had one of the better trick shots and he somehow did not win to the other guy that did some other type of stupid thing. But yes, he definitely stole the show, I think, that night. And then the regular game, both Troy Terry and John Gibson, the goalie, they were named to the All-Star team, so that was pretty cool. Terry is a guy they drafted pretty high the past couple years, and Gibson has been around, so luckily that young talent is showing through, and hopefully a lot more of that talent will come, because apparently there was an article saying that the Anaheim Ducks have like a top 5 overall player pool talent when it comes to guys who are not playing right now, all their young guys on the bench or in their secondary team. So I don't know why they're not playing a lot of those guys, especially if there's a lot of talent there, or maybe trading some away to get some better veteran talent on good deals. You could also do that, but I don't know. We'll see what this new GM Pat Verbeek is going to do in the near future because he was hired the last video, I remember. Then USC basketball, yes, they were playing earlier Saturday in Arizona. Sadly, they did lose that game. It was pretty close, back to back throughout. They almost got the victory, but they ended up losing by like 10 points or something like that because of free throws. But it was nice to see what they can do against one of the better teams in the conference. So we'll see how that goes against UCLA, because I believe that night UCLA did get upset by ASU, who USC just beat a couple days prior. So I don't know. Maybe it's the Pac-12 cannibalizing itself once again. But speaking of USC Trojans in the NBA, DeMar DeRozan the other day went off against Philadelphia. He had 45 points, which was nice, but it did come in a losing effort, which sucks for him. But yes, it's pretty cool to see that he is still as good of an all-star as he is, but stupid Lakers did not make that trade. It's pretty dumb. Then Justin Herbert was playing Sunday, I believe it was, in the Pro Bowl for the NFL. He did not start the game, but he did come out for quite a bit. Ended up throwing 2 touchdowns, had an interception, didn't even throw over 100 yards, and he was still named the offensive MVP. So congrats to him, I guess, even though most of it was even worse than a flag football tournament. I think if they made them play with flags, it might be a little bit more entertaining, and they would actually play a lot better. But yeah, it was pretty bad to see. I hope they try to fix that Pro Bowl. Then speaking of that Laker victory, yes, they played the Knicks Saturday night. Yes, it was a packed Saturday for me. And yes, the Lakers did beat the Knicks in overtime. They had to come back in that one. It was pretty close throughout. Actually, in the beginning of the game, they were down, I think at halftime, by 15 plus points, and they're able to come back. The Lakers tied up, have a little lead, but they let RJ Barrett hit that 3-point to tie up the game to go into overtime, and luckily they were able to pull away, get the victory. LeBron James did return. He was healthy enough to come back, and he played great. He played over 40 minutes and still had like a triple-double or near triple-double. He played great. Of course, Westbrook played horribly. I think he only had like 5 points, which sucks. But yeah, we'll see what they do with him. I know there's been a lot of talk about them trying to move him and stuff, but let me see. Yeah, I remember a lot of NBA executives that weren't going to be named, but they did say that it's pretty obvious that the Lakers are trying to move Russell Westbrook at the moment. They're trying desperately, but they still don't want to give up that future first-round pick because they don't know exactly what their future holds once LeBron James gets up there after his contract, and Anthony Davis is in his mid-30s as well, so that first-round pick might be pretty valuable. So we'll see what they do with that. And then also, I think something came out saying that if LeBron's son, Bronny, was drafted to a different team once he got drafted into the NBA a few years from now, that he would actually leave the Lakers. So if he does, hopefully they can get something in return from him instead of just him leaving like in free agency or through buyout. But yeah, it's not that crazy to think that he would want to play with his son. Kind of don't think it should be with the Lakers, but pretty sure he's going to want to do that at least for a season or two before he retires. Then to end off with some miscellaneous news, so Ron Perlman, who's been the better Hellboy in my opinion, I did not watch that David Harbour one that came out a couple years ago, but yes, apparently he's been trying to talk with Guillermo del Toro about making another Hellboy, the third one, to kind of finally end that chapter, because apparently Guillermo del Toro's tried to get that done. He only needed like around $100 million at the time to do it, but the first 2 movies did not do very well in the box office. They kind of went down or just barely went up. They didn't even make over 200 million both, so I kind of thought it was like a financial loss overall, so kind of pretty obvious that they weren't going to make any more. But he still wants to do it even though he's 71. So we'll see if it gets done, maybe in a smaller version, or hopefully they could do it for cheaper and before Ron Perlman sadly leaves us. But yes, hopefully it can get done. But Guillermo del Toro is always too busy producing and trying to get other stuff made. So hope for the best, I guess. And then the last bit of news, I think through that website that I recently talked about within like the last month that said Tom Hardy was like the main leader to get James Bond betting odds wise. Apparently now my boy Superman Henry Cavill himself is now jumped up over the odds of both Tom Hardy and Idris Elba, who's been in talks a lot as well. So you never know. I don't know if any of these guys have really talked with Barbara Broccoli and all the people who own James Bond as of this moment, but we'll see. It'll be pretty cool to see him finally get it because he was the runner-up to the guy who was most recently James Bond, Daniel Craig. So should be pretty fun and interesting if it does happen. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.